It was supposed to be just another Tuesday night, another endless shift at the gas station. The kind of night where the minutes feel like hours and the silence is only broken by the hum of the refrigerators. But this Tuesday was different. Around 2 a.m., when the world outside was asleep, the bell above the door chimed, and he walked in. He was a mess. His hair was tangled like he'd been running his hands through it all night. His clothes were dirty, his eyes wide and wild, darting around the store as if he were being chased. He didn't say a word, just paced the aisles, picking up items and putting them back down. A bag of chips, a candy bar, nothing seemed right. My heart started to beat a little faster. You get a feeling about these things, working the late shift, a gut instinct that something isn't right. Finally, he grabbed a soda and came to the counter. The silence was heavy, almost suffocating. As I reached for the scanner, my eyes caught a glint of something in his hand. It was a small, shiny object, tucked tightly in his fist. The light from the ceiling bounced off it, a cold, sharp flash. My breath caught in my throat. My mind raced through every worst-case scenario. Was this it? Was this the night my luck ran out? My hand hovered over the silent alarm button under the counter. Every muscle in my body tensed, preparing for whatever was coming next. The air grew thick, and the only sound was the low hum of coolers and the frantic thumping of my own heart. But just as I was about to press the button, he spoke. His voice was barely a whisper, a cracked and broken sound that seemed completely at odds with his wild appearance. He said I was going to do something terrible. He looked right at me, and for the first time, I saw something other than wildness in his eyes. There was shame, regret, a deep, unsettling sorrow. He slowly opened his hand and placed the small, shiny object on the counter. I still couldn't make out what it was, but it lay there between us, gleaming under the fluorescent lights. It felt like a confession, a surrender. But I changed my mind, he continued, his voice still a whisper. He pushed the object slightly towards me. Stay vigilant, he said, his gaze intense. There are bad people out there. I was almost one of them tonight. He looked past me, out into the dark parking lot, as if seeing a different version of himself out there. A version that had made a different choice. The weight of his words settled in the air, heavy and cold. It wasn't a threat, it was a warning. A chilling first-hand account from the edge of a cliff he had just backed away from. Then, as quickly as he had peered, he was gone. He didn't even take the soda he'd brought to the counter. He just turned and walked out, the bell chiming softly as the door swung shut, leaving me in a deafening silence. I stood there, frozen, staring at the shiny object on the counter. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely find the lock on the door. I secured it, then leaned against the counter, my legs feeling like jelly. I replayed his words over and over in my head. I was almost one of them tonight. That night I learned a terrifying lesson. The line between safety and danger, between a normal Tuesday and the worst night of your life, is incredibly thin. And sometimes the scariest ghosts aren't the ones that haunt old houses, but the ones that people carry inside of them, fighting a battle we can't even see. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. If you've ever had an experience that changed your perspective on things, I'd be interested to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories. Stay safe out there. Working the night shift at a remote gas station, you get used to the quiet, the solitude, the occasional oddity. But nothing prepared me for the night he appeared. It had been weeks since the last strange incident, and the silence had settled back into its usual hum, then chaos. The glass doors flew open, and a man, absolutely terrified, stumbled in. His eyes were wild, darting towards the darkness outside. He gasped, "Someone's following me. Please, you have to help me." His panic was infectious. I could feel my own heart start to pound in my chest. He wasn't armed, he just looked hunted. He begged me to help him fill his car. "I don't have time," he kept saying, his voice shaking. "They're close." I didn't ask who they were. I grabbed the nozzle, filled his tank as fast as I could, my eyes scanning the empty highway. He fumbled with some cash, threw it on the counter, and then he was gone, tires squealing as he vanished into the inky blackness of the night. For days, I couldn't shake the image of his face, the pure terror etched into it. Then, just as the memory began to fade, he returned. It was a calm, sunny afternoon. The same man walked in, but he was completely transformed. He was composed, smiling, his eyes clear. He looked like a different person. "I wanted to thank you," he said, his voice steady and warm. "You helped me more than you know." Before I could even respond, he placed a small, heavy box on the counter. Inside was a beautiful gold watch, its face gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "A small token of my gratitude," he said. He didn't offer any explanation, just gave a small nod and left as quietly as he had arrived. I was still staring at the watch, mesmerized, when a sleek black car pulled up. A man in impeccably tailored suit got out. He had a cold, professional air about him. He showed me a photo of the man who had just left. "Have you seen this individual?" he asked, his tone leaving no room for argument. "He's in very serious trouble." A chill ran down my spine. Looking at this man's hard face, and then thinking of the terrified man from that night, I made a split-second decision. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "No, I've never seen him before." The man in the suit studied my face for a long moment, then nodded curtly and left. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I had no idea if I'd done the right thing. A few more days passed. I was starting to think I'd dreamed the whole thing. Then, tucked under the station's front door one morning, was a small plain envelope. Inside, a handwritten note. "Thank you for helping me. I am safe now." That was it. No name, no explanation, nothing. I never saw him again. I never found out who he was or was chasing him or what kind of trouble he was in. But I still have the watch. I wear it every day. It's a constant reminder of the man who returned, the mystery I became a part of. And sometimes, late at night, when the station is quiet and I'm all alone, I swear it ticks just a little bit louder. What do you think? Was I right to lie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories from the strange side of life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. Working the graveyard shift at a remote gas station has its perks, the quiet, the solitude, but it also has a downside. My station is right on the edge of a massive, dark forest, and some nights you get this feeling, like you're not really alone, like something is watching you from just beyond the light. For a long time, I brushed it off. Nerves, I told myself. An overactive imagination fueled by too much caffeine and late-night horror movies. But then came the night that changed everything. It was around 2:30 in the morning, dead quiet, except for the hum of the coolers and the occasional cricket. I was restocking the chips when a flicker of movement caught my eye. I looked up past the empty pumps toward the tree line, and that's when I saw it. A figure standing perfectly still, right where the forest began. It was too far to make out any details, just a silhouette against the deeper black of the woods. My heart started to pound. Was it a lost hiker? Someone in trouble? Then it raised an arm and began to wave. Not a frantic, help me wave, but a slow, deliberate, almost hypnotic motion. Back and forth, back and forth. A cold dread washed over me, but my training kicked in. I had to check. I grabbed my heavy-duty flashlight, my hand shaking slightly, and stepped out into the humid night air. "Hello?" I called out. "Everything all right out there?" The moment the words left my mouth, the figure took one step back, melting into the darkness of the trees. It didn't run. It just vanished. Curiosity, or maybe stupidity, got the better of me. I walked cautiously across the pavement, my flashlight beam cutting a nervous path in front of me. I reached the spot where it had been standing. The ground was soft dirt and pine needles, and there, clear as day, were footprints. They weren't from hiking boots or sneakers. They were long, slender, and looked almost bare. They led away from me, deeper into the forest. I took a hesitant step, following the tracks, shining my light from tree to tree. The air grew colder, a silence more profound. That's when I heard it, a whisper. It was so soft I almost missed it, but it was undeniably there. It was a cold, sibilant sound, and it felt like it was right next to my ear. My blood turned to ice. I whipped around, swinging the flashlight beam wildly. And for a split second, I saw it. A face. Pale, with large, dark eyes peering at me from behind a thick oak tree no more than 10 feet away. It wasn't human. The proportions were all wrong. The expression void of anything but a chilling, empty curiosity. I didn't scream. I didn't even think. My body just reacted. I turned and ran, sprinting back across the lot, not daring to look behind me. I fumbled with the keys, my hands trembling so hard I could barely get the key in the lock. I slammed the door shut, locked the deadbolt, and collapsed behind the counter, my heart hammering against my ribs. I stayed there, crouched in the dark, until the first rays of sunlight broke over the horizon. I never saw the face again, but I know it's still out there. Every night when I come to work, I feel its eyes on me from the tree line. It's just waiting. Waiting for me to be foolish enough to step outside again. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have any similar creepy experiences, I'd love to read them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more chilling tailies. Stay safe out there.